John, in New York
Good
City,
afternoon.
listening on WWRL. You don't like my use of Reagan's clip? Really?
Well, you said that Republicans, and then you used President Reagan as an example, think that America is the problem.
Yep.
Stated that several times.
The American government.
Reagan said,
I'm guessing that they would prefer, the Republicans would prefer the Chinese government because they have basically turned us over to the Chinese government. When Nancy Pelosi passed legislation out of the House of Representatives with majority Democratic support during the first 2 years of the Obama administration, that said that no longer can American companies tear down factories here like Mitt Romney did with Sensata back just a year or so ago and ship them brick by brick over to China and rebuild them there and get a tax break. No, we're not going to stop them from doing it. We're just going to stop them from getting a tax break for doing it. That legislation passed. The Republicans filibustered it in the Senate, and so it never became law. So I guess that Republicans prefer the Chinese governmental style to the American governmental style. Do I have that right?
well, sir, I'm no fan of the Republicans or the Democrats. I think their policies are virtually indistinguishable. You look at the
more and more Republicans are saying that, you know, John?
Well, like I said, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but I just can't believe that you would say that saying that our government is the problem, which I think obviously it is the same as saying that America is the problem. And you also had a caller on, and I think you agreed with him, that said a lot of the criticism of Obama is due to racism. I'm a black American. I have no use for Obama, and it's got nothing to do with racism.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. That's fine in your case. I guarantee you, there are a lot of white racists in this country, and I've run across no small number of them whose opposition to Obama is based on his race.
There's so many reasons to dislike Obama that I think it's very difficult to pin it on racism. And then finally, sir, if I may...
I'm saying some significant fraction of it is.
Brought up. I think there's no evidence that Zimmerman did anything wrong. There's no evidence. You guys mentioned Skittles.
You got an unarmed guy dead. He did nothing wrong? You got two guys who meet. One of them has a gun, the other doesn't. The guy who doesn't have the gun is dead. And you don't think that the guy who had the gun, who, by the way, was told by the police, do not follow that man, did something wrong?
Your example, sir, your example was if a white person had been followed by a black person, and then incredibly you said, no matter what happened, I don't know who hit who or whatever.
Yep.
That's the entire crux of the matter.
No.
If someone is defending themselves against being attacked, whether they have a gun or not, they have a right to defend themselves.
The pursuit is an attack.
What the evidence points to with George Zimmerman.
The pursuit, in my opinion, was an attack in and of itself.
The what was an attack?
George Zimmerman pursuing Trayvon Martin. The 9/11 operator told him, do not do that. The community watch guidelines are, do not do that. This is something to be left to the police. And by the way, what's a community watch guy running around with a gun for anyway? But no, I think that most sane Americans, John, which is not to say that you're insane, but most Americans would tell you. I mean, just look at who's on death row in this country. Would tell you that when whites commit crimes against blacks, they're far more likely to go to prison. Excuse me, when blacks commit crimes against whites, they're far more likely to go to prison than when whites commit crimes against blacks. And the statistics absolutely back that up.
Your proof of that is the demographic in prison, that there are more blacks in prison?
No, my proof of that is the analyses that have been done by any number of groups, including the NAACP, that show that take actual crime statistics, actual reported assaults, and you take actual reported assaults and you break out the racial component. What you see is that when a black person assaults a white person, they are wildly more likely to go to jail than when a white person assaults a black person, whether it's a fatal assault or a non-fatal assault. It absolutely is the case.
What about the statistics of just how many black people attack white people versus how many white people attack blacks?
Doesn't matter. I'm talking about if
it's beyond the pale, and that's
it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, and frankly, I don't know what those statistics are, so I can't argue them with you. But the fact of the matter is that I do know for a fact that when black people assault white people, they are much more likely to end up in jail than when white people assault black people. And if you're African American, you would know that, John. I mean, this is just a reality in America.